Hey guys, this is James from 4X Alchemist. I am back doing an expert guide to the first turns of a new 4X strategy game. This is Warhammer 2 Total War, or as I'm going to call it, Total Warhammer. Um, David and I have been playing with this game for the last month or so and been having an awesome time. And so I've been working on some strategies for beating this game versus AIs on the hardest settings. And I would say, especially compared to Endless Space, Legendary and Total War games is usually really, really challenging. Whereas in Endless Space, it's a little bit more straightforward. So I have been having a ton of fun with this one because I still lose on Legendary, not infrequently, which is really fun. Okay, so um, the first guide that I'm going to be bringing you is from the High Elves, and we're going to be playing Teclis. So there's two High Elf heroes, Tyrion and Teclis. Teclis is the mage. It says that his initial challenge is more difficult than Tyrion's. We're going to be playing on legendary difficulty with a very hard battle difficulty and battle realism mode. And we're going to get right into it. So, the elves in this game, they have really one interesting trait, which is the espionage one that we'll be talking about. Trade agreements allowing line of sight to assets controlled by the trade partner. Intrigue is a special mechanism by which they get heroes and lords, and the martial prowess just gives them bonus when they're at full strength, but that's more incremental. Teclis himself and his Order of Loremasters have the main difference is that Teclis is an excellent mage. He has a fireball bound to him and an extra magic power. So, with that, we're going to start, and we'll get into our starting units, this Sword Masters of Hoth and Frostheart Phoenix, a bit later. So I'm going to be skipping through the videos. Hopefully, if you guys are liking the strategy of the game, you'll check them out, and then when you're playing through, you'll be able to see the vids. By the way, I'm going to be up here in the top left-hand corner to stay out of the way for most of the things. There's never really important text up in the top left in the battles or the overland map. So we just talked a little bit about these three things. Influence for lords and heroes. Espionage for trade agreements to spy on people. Okay. So in Total Warhammer, you get quests pretty regularly throughout the game, especially in the early parts, to kind of poke you in a direction of what to do. Our first one is to capture a settlement from the purple lizard folk, and build a rally field. And we get some influence and some cash for doing this. But before we dive right into that, let's take a more strategic look back at where we are. So overall, on the Warhammer map, for Total Warhammer 2, we've got 4 continents. And I'm going to give these continents nicknames, and I'll bet you can guess why. I'm going to call this South America, Africa, this is North America, Central America, and this is Donut Europe. Because Europe is supposed to be here, but it's a donut. So most of the High Elf races are up here, but Teclis starts all the way down here on the islands west of Chile. So let's see. There's so many aspects to playing Total War games well, but the two main ones that we're going to be talking about are how to optimize your economy and how and when to do battles and move armies. So I think let's talk about the core rules that drive the game. So I think that the core rule that drives or let's say the two core rules that drive the Total War games, and especially Total Warhammer 2, are the economics of unit maintenance. So here's my income up here. You can see I have an income of 3,000 and expenses of 1,900. And that's because my one army, is costing me 1,900 gold a turn to maintain, and every new unit that I get will add an additional 150, 160 or so to that, which means that in this game, the vast majority of the gold that you generate in the game is about maintaining equilibrium or a positive balance with your troops, right? With your number of troops, and so the big limitation of the game is that you can't field that many armies, because you will just be losing so much gold every turn if you have too many units, because you need to grow your empire first, build the economy there, and then that bigger empire can then support more units, which allows you to grow your empire further, and so on and so on. This economic challenge is made additionally hard because of a rule that we'll talk about here. If you recruit a lord, which is basically a general for a new army, the total army upkeep increases by 15% for the units in this new army and all of the previous units. So that means that if I just hire one new general, I will be paying 300 for her, plus an additional 660, and even more than that as I recruit new units, because all of the maintenance costs will go up by 15%. So this means it's incredibly costly to recruit multiple armies. So you really have to get the maximum bang for your buck every single turn from the armies that you are fielding in the game. So this is kind of like the economic balance. Then the second key thing that I want to talk about is hero experience, and unit experience generally. So each unit has a set of statistics and a set of abilities here. So these are like, armor, attack, defense, charge bonus. Leadership is like morale, how quick they are to break and run and when things start going badly. And heroes have a special level up system, but every unit can level up. So normal non-hero units can level up to 9 and get substantially better, and then hero units can level up to level 40, and they unlock a huge array of new abilities as they level up, which completely changes the way that they play. It really impacts the game. And on top of that, each hero unit can have 12 items equipped. 6 that are part of his character, and then 6 followers and banners. So acquiring these things and deploying them best you can, but most of the acquisitions of those are random, is very, very important. So with those two key points set up, the last thing that I want to say before getting started is that compared to the other game that we've done with 4X Alchemist, which was Endless Space 2, each turn in Total Warhammer matters much more. So the turns take a lot longer. You're fighting the battles, so a lot more is happening. So instead of doing 30 turns, we're only going to do the first 10, 15, something like that. We'll see how it goes. But I want to just kind of like take the first few turns to get to a point where we've stabilized a little bit, to kind of give you some insight of how we get on our feet in Legendary. But I think the theme that we're going to come to over and over again is that every turn is so important. The computers in this game can recover and raise armies very quickly again, even if you defeat them. So you have to be able to punish, follow through, and wipe people out, or like take and hold territory without wasting time or turns. Otherwise, you can spend many, many, many turns fighting over a single colony, where and it can like slow down your whole game and put you so far behind the other AIs that are rapidly progressing through the main objective of the game, which are the rituals up here. And you can't let that happen. Especially on Legendary, you have to be able to keep charging forward with as few slowdowns as possible. So, with that, let's get started. Let's talk first about our overall objectives. We start out here on Turtle Island. We have a settlement, a province with 3 settlements. The Mud Isles down here are uninhabited, so we can just go and colonize those with an army whenever we want to. Golden Ziggurat is our second minor province, or minor settlement. That's owned by the Purple Lizardfolk. And then, as we go across our little island chain here, Sentinels of Xeti is Purple Lizardfolk's second place. And our third place is down here, Golden Colossus. And that's paired with Chamber of Visions. Chamber of Visions has this ritual resource site which gives extra way fragments. So the way that you progress through these from ritual to ritual, each settlement that you have gives you +1 per turn. And so you can see you need to get to 350 to make it to the first ritual. So if I just stayed as having my 1 settlement, it would take 350 turns. But if I have 10, it'll take 35. And these special settlements that have these ritual resource sites, you can build a building there, which itself will give you 10 waystones per turn. So they're very, very strong. You need to control these things for the overall progression of the game, but getting it on turn 5 versus turn 10 actually doesn't matter so much. So the other thing that I want to point out now is, if you see these green and red bubbles around each of the settlements, this is related to climate. So the elves are fine in the jungles, but don't like the deserts, and so and this is different for each race. So the lizard folk here, they're fine in the desert. So this this province down here, the Copper Desert, that has Forgotten Isles and Duskgate, this is very inhospitable to us. So what we need to be thinking about doing is that we're going to be coming in here, and we actually want to expand up, north, and east. Because expanding south through here is going to be tough to hold. Okay, now for those of you guys that may not have played Legendary before, let's talk just briefly about what's different in Legendary. There are a couple of main things. One is the background income, I think, is different. The more major things are that the percentage of gold that you increase by for each lord is higher. Usually in other Total War games, the upkeep of each unit is higher, as well as the percentage being increased. And then basically you have to keep your colonies happy with a system of public order. So if public order drops to -100, you have a revolution. And in very hard, 1 step of difficulty down, the difficulty level contributes -4 to public order. In Legendary, it does -8, which is crazy. So we're going to be having a lot of revolutions in this game, because it's almost impossible to control the public order until the very, very late game. And the elves actually don't do a very good job of it. So, let's get started. Legendary, turn 1, we have 7 units. These lizard folk have 12. We're going to attack them on turn 1. I didn't do this right away, but as you can see from the auto-resolve here, we are actually advantaged slightly in this battle. And so, yep, we're just going to jump in and play it. Looking at our starting units here, Teclis has a couple of spells we'll talk about in a second, but the 2 big ones I want to talk about are these Sword Masters of Hoth. These are really, really strong melee units. And this guy, a Frostheart Phoenix, that has the ability to cause fear and terror. Yeah, he's got some damage resistance as well, but then the main other ability I want to talk about is this one, the Blizzard Aura. So he gives a penalty to melee attack and armor-piercing damage whenever he's around to all units. So having him close to your other troops actually makes our troops fight better because it protects them from the melee attacks of the enemies. Okay. So let's talk about how to fight this one. Against Caterpillar. So, looking at the enemy, they've got 4 really strong Saurus units. Saurus are great. 4 weak Skink melee units, and 3 Skink dart units. They're going to be on the defensive, so they're going to be able to hole up and make me come to them, so they're depositing themselves on this ridge so that I can't charge up to them. Next point. Winds of Magic determine how much magic you're going to cast in each battle. This number is randomly selected between 1, but I've never really seen it at 1, and 25. So 25 is the limit for start. And so generally, if you have 10 or less, you're always given the option to re-roll that starting number, and it gives you a new random number. So generally, if I'm at 10 or less, I'll re-roll because odds are it's 13 or better. And so I'm going to click Gamble there. Sure enough, I went up from 7 to 18, got some extra magic, and I will start the battle. Alright, so then I always number my units. So I'm going to call him number 1, number 3, number 4, 5, 6. I skipped 2 there because 2 is going to be my other hero that will join later. And I just want to, yeah, it's like you learn particular people and expect them to be in certain places. So that's what's going on there. All right. And so strategically for this battle, what I'm going to do is that my 2 archers have much longer range and better damage than their skink skirmishers. And so I'm going to lure out their skirmishers with my archers and then destroy them with my superior melee units and force them to kind of scatter to come and fight me under my barrage of arrows because they can't hold a defensive position if I have the advantage in range, because I will just win. So this is why having an advantage in ranged combat is very, very, very important, because if you have an advantage in ranged combat, you can always make the enemy come to you. Alright, here we go. So, as I said, I'm going to move my archers up there. I hold spacebar to see where exactly they'll be, and then after pressing right click to move them, I press R to make sure that they're just walking and not tiring themselves out. Move my other guys up here as well. They're all going to go behind the archers. And then... okay, and I'm just going to move them a bit faster. Oh, there we go. Sorry, I want them to walk, but I want to increase the speed of the game so that they can get up there. You can see these dudes are just waiting for me. So, let's talk then briefly about Teclis' spells. So he's got 2, Flock of Doom, which is like a circle that deals damage, and Enfeebling Foe, which cripples the melee abilities of a single enemy unit for 24 seconds. He also has this thing, a fireball, that he can throw at enemies to deal some decent magic damage from a really long distance, and that's pretty cool too. So these are his starting abilities. Swordsmen of Hoth are just super, super, super strong melee fighters. They have high armor, really strong. So like their Saurus units are also buff. Each Saurus can probably take on 2 spearmen, but my swordmasters can easily take 2 Saurus. So that's roughly how it goes there. All right. So they're going to shift a little bit. And I'm going to do the following. The other thing I'm going to do is, because I'm trying to lure them, I want to make sure that I'm in guard mode so that I don't hello? So that I don't do anything that I don't want to do. So I don't go too far on... What are these doofuses doing? No idea what those doofuses are doing. Oh, okay. This green right here, the lizardfolk hero ability, let's see if we can select it. Here we go. It's called Cold-Blooded, which replenishes hit points over time. And so as soon as they use that on these Saurus spears, I immediately want to switch targets so I can do the maximum amount of damage. And then you can see, because now I'm dealing damage to them, they're going to take their skinks and send them around to me. So this is great. I'll let off maybe one more volley from my left troop and one more volley from my right troop. There we go. And now I'm going to move back. Okay. And now, you see, I'm just making them come to me. So I'll make my way through the lines there. And I keep holding spacebar to get my bearings on distance. Okay. Group 6 can now focus on these guys. I want them to shoot at the same ones. My spearmen have shields, so they're better at defending against ranged attacks than the... Okay. Now the rest of their troops are coming. Turning my back here is not optimal, but it's okay. They're a little bit confused because they were coming out to me, so this is why I had to retreat a little bit. I was a wee bit too close to them. Alright, so they're retreating there. And now we're going to go in. So the way we're going to do this is that they're being damaged. They take a run there. They're going to almost certainly break right away. Good. My archers switch to these guys. Okay. And then my Phoenix is actually going to come in from behind, slow these guys way down, drop them. By the way, after this flag means that they're broken, but they're not forever gone. So don't expect, just because they're broken, that they're not going to be coming back. You can see that both of these units did return, but now they're lost again. But they're still not gone forever. But now we've dealt a severe blow to these guys. So we'll turn around again. These guys will flee again. We still have plenty of magic power. We'll start throwing fireballs. Okay, these guys are fleeing again. So these are spears on the right side. So we're going to go here, here, group 6. Go ahead and take out these ranged guys. We're going to put my strong dudes right in the front. Okay, they're fleeing again. We're going to go ahead and make them weak right away. And then, oh, didn't mean to do that. And then we're going to deal damage to them. So what we're trying to do here is, okay, those guys are, sorry. What we're trying to do here is make sure that the Phoenix is reducing everybody's melee power. Okay. And then this guy can come right behind these skink cohorts to help them. Ooh, that was sneaky. These Saurus warriors came a bit from behind here. Okay. And now we want this guy to be enfeebled, these guys to be damaged. Good. Alright, and we're going to attack into these guys from behind. We use all of our ammunition here, so we're going to run in. Have the bird come in here. Alright, these guys are going to go help the spearmen. So these guys are taking on the really tough Saurus warriors, right? But now with Teclis and the Phoenix over here, situation's pretty good. We're going to enfeeble and weaken the hero. Yeah, the Saurus are so hard to break. Yeah, you can see that they're kind of winning against my spears over there. So I'm going to try to bail out these guys. And then I'm going to have to bail out my other guys. Okay, so I'm going to take away guard mode now, because I want my guys to be able to pursue. And then we're going to come in and use this to weaken those guys as much as we can. Alright. My spearmen should be returning pretty soon. Okay, so their hero actually doesn't threaten me that much right now. So it's actually more valuable for me to come over here so that I can use my abilities to damage the morale of my enemies. Yep. It's like I'm going to shoot a fireball over there. Oh, failed to shoot it. So I want group 4. They're going to be best at killing these guys. We're hovering our Phoenix kind of over top because, remember, he reduces the melee power. There we go. There we go. Now, after the battle, we have to fight these guys again. So our fun with them is unfortunately not over. Oh, I think I'm out of range for those guys. Okay. Let's do it on these guys maybe? Oh no, that's the caterpillar. So, yeah, we'll have these guys knock in with them. And basically we're just going to accelerate the speed a little bit and try to do as much as possible to take out some of these poopers. Ooh, we got some of them. Our archers are fairly fast. Let's see if we can just kind of like get them to run in front of the Saurus. And we'll see if they take any out. I don't see too many corpses there though, honestly. Ooh. There's a couple. Alright, they got up there. Well done, guys. Yeah. Boom. So, because we're going to be taking these guys out this time, it's best to take the free hits. So we killed their lord with our Phoenix, who followed him over here, or I guess our Swordmasters. And in the early game, every little bit counts. So we lost a lot of guys from our spears, a few with our Swordmasters, and so on. Also, if my numbers for units are different than yours, there's a weird thing in this game where the number of units actually scales with the graphics settings. So I have my graphics on the highest settings. That actually means that my unit sizes are bigger, which is a weird little quirk. But it does it for the enemy too, so it's kind of similar. It changes the battle dynamics a little bit because each individual person still occupies the same amount of space. So yeah, on higher graphics settings, you have to spread out more. Alright. So, that's weird. I almost always level up from this fight. How unusual. Okay, so we're going to do unit replenishment here. We don't really need the experience. Actually, am I going to do unit replenishment? I don't think we gain that much from it. I am going to do the experience. Early on, XP is really valuable. Okay, so we killed Caterpillar. That was a manly scream. Alright, and then for this one, there's a high possibility that if we auto-resolve, we're going to lose this spear unit, because they're actually still pretty buff, although we did manage to really slaughter their Saurus units. So they should stand almost no chance against us. We should be able to rout them really quickly, and when we do, they die. Ba-dum-ba-dum. Okay. So once again, we're going to gamble, because we had a 5. Once again, we are rewarded by the laws of probability. 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We have a strong ranged advantage yet again. We're going to try to kind of keep these guys a little bit protected, because we don't want to lose too many more. And then here's Tech, the Phoenix. So I think you should always give your Phoenix a nickname. I'm going to call my Phoenix Goldilocks, and we'll start a deployment, start the battle, and they're just going to come at us. So these guys here, they have all skink units and 1 Saurus. So their Saurus is really like their only yeah, their only real threat. So we're gonna just focus our fire on him. Have the rest of our guys ready. There you go. Okay, these skink cohorts are perfect fodder for my spearmen. It's okay that my archers are in melee there. The skinks are pretty low threat overall. Yep. And then so we'll just reduce their melee power by a bunch. So because Goldilocks has this fear and terror thing, nobody lasts very long against her. So I could just kind of like run up. They're already kind of weakened from the bows, and then when I get in there, there we go. That's it. And this one we don't need to follow up because we already pushed them away once, so all's good. As far as kills, you see Teclis, 32, not bad. 68 for the Swordmasters, 26 for Goldilocks. Well, pretty good. Now we're gonna do 100 again. This guy should fall over. No, what? This is very strange. I've never seen this happen before. In all the other ones, maybe it's because... So usually they can only run away twice. I've always leveled up, and I've always killed him in 2. You find out something new every time, I guess, and record it live. Maybe he can retreat an extra time if I kill his general the first time? Well, that's really disappointing. Okay. Anyway, so here, I'm going to go into March mode. Oh. Can I even? Okay, good. I'm going to go into March mode so that I can come back onto my turf. And what I'm going to do here is get Flock of Doom upgraded so that I can start getting access to more spells. And then on Great Turtle Isle, I'm going to upgrade my rally field, and then I'm going to do something unusual, which is I am going to recruit a lord. So, because I have no influence yet, all of my lords... Ooh, this is a good one. All of my lords have a penalty instead of a bonus, because I'm not spending any influence to get them. The good ones that cost like 60 influence, they have all sorts of good traits. The bad ones are, yeah, bad. But ambush success chance down is pretty gentle, honestly. And I could recruit some guys, but I'm actually not going to this turn. I can't recruit them into Teclis' army, and you'll see what I'm going to do in this army in a second. Okay, so that is turn 1. And you can see I had about 1,200, 11 or 1,200 in the positives here. And now after recruiting a new lord, it jumps way down right away. And we'll jump down even more in a second, I think. Okay, I don't think I can actually afford to chase him all the way in there. So I'm gonna let this guy go. He's in camp, and yeah, he's got a new Saurus hero now. It's a pain in the ass, but he can't recruit any guys in this one turn, so I'm not too worried. Besides, I have bigger fish to fry because I have to kill this garrison. So that's 2 Saurus, both spear units, and a bunch of skinks. We're going to do basically the same thing that we did in the secondary battle just now. Yeah, so that's going to be using our archers to bring them to us. Good old group 6, 5, 3, 4, 1. Okay. 23 is a great start. So we start deployment. We don't know exactly where they'll be, but I expect that they'll just be pretty generically in the middle. And we're just going, they have all, oh, you were supposed to be group 4, there you go. Yeah, I expect that they'll just kind of start in the middle. I'll set up some guys here so that my swordsmen take the brunt of their attack. And we should be good. Yep, there they go, starting in a pretty generic spot. I can overcast this Flock of Doom now, which becomes pretty strong. You can see it's like doing some damage there. Look at that. Not bad, not bad. So we're going to try to cripple these guys as much as possible. Throw a fireball whenever I can. Okay, and then as these guys get close, I'm going to charge in. Group 6. Okay, and we're just going to keep damaging them here. My heroes, my hero and my bird are going to fly around behind. Their units are already broken because we dealt so much damage. Now we come in with the terror. Their melee abilities are just awful, and the battle's won. So that was a really good example. So that was an even fight from auto-resolve, but textbook. Lost 2 units, or 2, not units, 2 individuals. Yeah, killing 208. As I expected. No problem. Alright, and we're just gonna occupy the Golden Ziggurat, take our 1,000 gold, and now it wants us to get the province. For the second level, we're going to always do Route Marcher. This is the strongest early one, because the reason that Route Marcher, I think, is my favorite level up is that every army's movement matters so much, and being like a fraction away from success, from making it to a settlement that turn, or making it to an army that turn, versus being far away, matters so much more than +5 leadership here or there, or like one guy casting another spell. So movement range, I think, is the single strongest ability in this game. Alright, and now we're going to recruit some units. We're going to do... yeah, we're going to do 3 more archers. And this is... do I want 3 more archers, or do I want 3 archers and a spear? Or 2 archers and a spear. I think I'll take 2 archers and a spear. Okay. And then for you, shield. Shield. So, it takes a long time to get down to the mud isles, and then colonize it. And when you colonize something, it actually hurts all of the units in your place, in your army, a lot. But if you have no units, it just costs more. And so the reason that I hired Shield here is that she's going to colonize the Mud Isles, then grab this Skull Reef, maybe one more. We'll see if we get greedy, how we're doing. And then I'm going to disband her, so that I'm not going to continue paying this ridiculous cost. Alright, so then here, what are we going to do? Well, we can increase our public order, which we're going to need constant help with. We can increase our growth, which is never a bad call. And, yeah, so I think that we're going to do plaza, or no, we're going to do growth first. Yep, we're going to do growth first. We are definitely going to upgrade our haven, because we have plenty of gold early on. Recruiting our 3 guys, and that's going to be the end of turn 2. I'm going to pause briefly, and then I will come back from here. Oh shit, there's actually one more thing that we need to do. So, we didn't talk about diplomacy. We mentioned that trade was important, but we didn't do anything with it. So, yeah. So we start seeing one and only one elf, which is the Citadel of Dusk. We should have done this in the first turn instead of the second, but we should make, yep, a non-aggression pact and a trade agreement with them. And then, okay, military access as well, because we want them to be our friends. They're the only other high elves around. These Bloodhall Coven guys, they hate us. That's not going to change. These dwarves of Sotek, having a non-aggression pact with them, sometimes you can get it on the first turn. We didn't, maybe because we waited. Similar to Endless Space, you actually have a big first turn bonus to diplomacy. Anyway, so now we're going to take a little pause. Just kind of overview here. Upgrading to Rally Field, level 2 Haven, Homestead, ending turn. Alright, and I am back to do a bit more here. So, we are on turn 3 now. This rogue lizardfolk army was able to escape there. Honestly, it doesn't matter too much, because they're just going to like be running back. It's almost better in some ways, because now it's actually more of a drain on his economy to keep track of this guy. Alright, so we're going to have him go as far as he can. And before we do anything else, so we're going to take Shield here. She's going to colonize this place, which gives us 2,000, so it's almost cash neutral. Here, we don't lose much to get this. And then we make the decision, do we want her to go get this thing next turn? I think we do. It will probably be worth it. We've got our province now together. And so we're going to go ahead and upgrade to our hamlet, which takes 2 turns. And we'll probably have 1 more turn where we can actually recruit. So that will be here. So for 1 turn, we're going to go to rally militia. And now we have the rally field, so we can recruit upgraded troops, the Lothern Sea Guards, and the light armor archers. Like I said, we're going to have 2 turns to do stuff. So I'm going to do 2 archers, and oh wow. This is actually cutting our finances a little bit too close. So yeah, we're just going to have to do 2 archers.
The geomantic web is crumbling.
For now. Okay. And because we completed rally field, we can do military advancements. Let's look at how much cash we're going to get next turn. So, yeah, I guess we could have taken 2 turns to do treasure. But we're going to get 1,000 next turn. Not bad. I think we still do the 2. We'll do 2 and 4. And we'll do 4 guards next turn. This will be fine. Okay, so this turn is pretty simple. And I think normally if there wasn't an island here, I would consider just disbanding her right now. But we're gonna let her do this thing. So here we go. Now we'll go to turn 4. He's gonna keep running probably. Yep. Alright, 1 and 2. Researched, and we're going to immediately go for the archery prowess, because like we're going to be primarily an archer army, so having the extra reload time for archers is going to be really good. Alright. And then we're going to come up here. Unfortunately, we can't. Oh, we can get... Nope. I think I just made a mistake, guys. Ooh, made a big mistake. Ooh, Bokui already here. Yeah, so... I knew I made a mistake there, because it didn't look like I would be able to get to him. I did, but then that used all of my movement. So now I have to retreat back, but I can't recruit anymore this turn. But it doesn't matter too much because I don't think I would be going to fight this guy. I want to lure him out a little bit first anyway. So honestly, we're pretty okay still. Oh my goodness. Well, this was worth doing it. Horde of the Vampire Admiral, 10,000 gold and an obsidian blade for huge armor-piercing damage. And look at this, we can even get, I think that's the only other one we can get, right? We can even get a second one this turn. So what was that about missing cash? Armor. Ooh, good armor too. Okay. And so with that, we're going to go here, give him a better armor and weapon. The place is set. You, my dear, will be disbanded. And we'll be in a great financial position. So, yep, I definitely wasted some time here, which is going to slow us down, but not the end of the world. Definitely not the end of the world.
Master of the White Tower.
Okay, now we have to build an elven colony.
You say so.
And a Chamber of Visions, which is up here.
The gods guide me.
Okay, so I need to do a little bit more recruiting.
Making camp.
So I'm going to go into an encamp stance, which will give me some extra defense and also slightly better healing for my units here. And then I am going to go ahead and do 4 Lothern Sea Guards. The reason I'm going to do 4, which will put me into the negatives income-wise, is that I have so much extra cash here that I can go negative for a little while and use that going negative to conquer these areas, which is a strategy I use relatively frequently. Okay. And so normally here, I would have liked to have moved from the recruitment to the one that gives construction cost bonuses, because we'd be saving little bits here and there. So like save 160 there, 80 there, etc. 100 there. But since I got the obsidian horde, I can afford to be just a little bit more reckless. I'm going to build the elven gardens there, and then just upgrade everything. Still have 6,000 left. And just try to bring my economy along as quickly as possible, which is the goal there. So, here we go. And I'm hoping that he'll recruit and send his guy out to fight me here. The fact that he's marching is a good sign. Yeah, so he's going to try to fight me with this 20-person army. It's going to be a tough fight. Interesting. So that's a lot of Saurus, including he has a blessed Saurus already. Wow. This is a really tough one, actually. Because on one hand, if I win, he's broken, and I can just charge straight up. On the other hand, that's a lot of Saurus. Alright. And if I retreat, I lose my recruitment for this turn, right? So that's how many Saurus units? 9? Oof. 9 is a lot of Saurus units. I'm gonna get pretty beaten up. Yeah, this is what I mean by those one-turn changes. So now I have to try to pull a seriously tough battle out of my ass. I'm gonna try it. And if I don't make it, that means game over, and I'll have to try to record this video again. But this is why it's fun, because we really do punish these mistakes. Maybe I'll put this video together anyway just to show how mistakes get punished so badly. Okay, so 18 is fine. We're going to start our deployment. And we're going to go over here. 1, 4, 3. I think I got a few guys in here. 5, 6. We're gonna link these guys a little bit closer together. And we're gonna try to get them up to here. So I'm gonna have to be using my swordsman in group 4 really effectively here. Alright. Let's start this. Okay. So, and I can start, not the spears, I want to do it on, yeah, we'll do it on the blessed guys to start with. Okay. Not bad. So I need this guy to come over here, and this guy to come over here. This is bad, this is bad, this is bad. I need to make sure that these guys continue to come through to here, because they're the only ones that can fight this guy. Alright. Saurus warriors are now the ones that need to be targeted there. My boy the Phoenix trapped in a little bit of a bind there by the mage priest. Alright, 5 seconds. So, no. You, my friend, continue taking out this Ballistodon. Alright, we're gonna take a little bit of health damage to improve this. Alright, we need a bit more. Okay. Uh-oh, Teclis got in a little deep there. Alright, but 4 has got to press up. Okay. So 4 is pressing through. 3 is terrifying them. We're gonna reduce the power of those guys there to make them last a little bit longer. Okay, everybody is in combat, one way or another. Yep. We're just going to keep these guys shooting. Not worried about this ballista dude. Group 4 is kicking ass right now. Okay. Okay, now group 6. Want to do that here. Group 3. Alright, group 4. Being kind of pooped upon. Let's take out as many of these guys as we can. Okay. Alright, we'll bring group 3 in from behind here. Alright, they're rallying a bunch. Okay. This is good news. Okay. I'm gonna keep pressing the attack here. Turn these two guys around. Okay. Alright. Looks like we're winning. But we have to make sure.
None can comprehend my power. Teclis, it is done.
Our other general is lost. Okay. Teclis is pretty hurt. Once again, turn around and have two guys shoot at him. Four will shoot here. No. Can't get the bird locked down. Bird's got to be over here. Oh, crap. The fact that Tech just went back is a big problem. We have to keep him alive. Okay. It's definitely a big problem. Alright, Teclis still has a chance to come back. This is going to be really close. Alright, there's my guys rallying there. Okay, we got to bring this guy back a little bit. There's Teclis coming back. Oh god. Okay. You are sword masters. This Saurus hero is such a pain in the ass.
Teclis. Orders received. Swiftly. For Norfolk.
Okay.
Loyal. I know the way.
There we go. There we go. Whew. Had to stay in my order of leadership. So that guy's going to die no matter what. Let's see if we can kill this guy. Because that guy was in march mode, so he's for sure going to die. I'm going to hold you back. I'm going to hold you back.
I know the way.
Actually, no, we'll let you go. Oof, that got intense. This guy's got pretty strong armor. No. You're good. You don't have to do anything, pal. Alright, and we're gonna accelerate. Ah, he got away. Alright. Well, that was close. 434 kills for our swordsman. We did kill Bokhui successfully. This guy's at least super weak. And that one, we're going to take all the replenishment we can get. Alright, and he gets a full health. Yeah, full health dude there, which is kind of a bummer. But, so it goes. Alright, so now we have to be recruiting a hero. Our Mud Isles. The structure has become unsound. Okay, he's just making me waste our time a little bit. Fine. Alright, so now we have a pretty serious army. We got Chain Lightning, which is a pretty good one. They've recovered a lot of their strength, but not all of it. And we have a lot of our strength back, although our main characters are still a little on the weak side. So now we're going to have to fight them plus 7 dudes. But we have 4 new ones. I expect they will sally. But we'll see. I expect that they'll sally out this next turn. But at least the reason that we siege here is that, number one, if we do get into a siege, we have a strong ranged advantage. And they have all of these units without shields that we'll be able to prey upon. And if they do sally, well, then we've got a fun battle to fight, and at least they won't be able to heal all of their guys another turn.
Steady hand is needed. I will give you victory.
So, it's a close one, but really fun. Alright, and then in here, this is pretty clear. As you can see, there's like a huge, it's just impossible to keep people happy, so we're going to have constant revolts. in the early part of this game until we get some additional growth going on. Speaking of which, we are going to move over to the growth, and then we're also going to see if we've met any new pals. We have not. We're not allowed to. We know that Tyrannok is here, but I don't think we're allowed to talk to them yet. No. So this is kind of the cool part. We can see what our Dusk Elf friends see. Okay, so we're a turn behind where we want to be, but such are the vicissitudes of life. Indeed, they are sallying. We have an advantage here now, but we still have a ton of Saurus units to deal with. So it should not be taken lightly. Yeah, I think if I auto-resolve, I'm going to lose a bunch of troops. So I am going to battle it out. The advantage that I have here is the fact that I've got all of these new spear and bow units. And it looks like I'm going to be able to just kind of hole up in the top corner here. So we'll gamble at 10, see how it goes. Boom. 11. Yeah, that's what I call playing the odds. Alright. 1, 4, 3, 5, 6, 7. So these guys, these hybrid infantry that have both bows and spears, they're mediocre spearsmen. They can defend themselves reasonably well, and they have slightly shorter range than the archers. So what I'm going to do is just set them up here, and you can see that by staggering them that way, the ranges are almost identical. The difference is that for Group 5 and Group 6, which are going to be my defenders here, they're going to go in locked formations so that they don't run off. And Groups 6 and 7 are both going to be in, actually 4 and 5 as well, are all going to be in guard mode. And I'm going to do a sweep from the left here. So, yeah, their units are going to come out from that way. So yeah, we're going to try to sweep them. We're assuming they're going to come this way or here, and we're going to be ready to respond to them then. Alright, so start the battle. As predicted, they're coming straight towards us. Down and then up. We're just going to let this charge. We've got 90 power reserve in total. Okay, let's see if we can just take a little bit further view. So they're walking towards us, not running. They've got a strong skirmishers unit and javelins and so on, but their Saurus warriors and stuff, those are their weaker units. So those are the guys that we really want to prey on, and then eventually we're going to try to take out his general. Okay, they have a long way to get to us. I'm just going to speed this up. Sorry, T is change time, but it goes to pause and doesn't let me pause the game on Legendary. Okay. There's their first group of guys in the back. So of course, if they were smarter and not an AI, they would probably want to... There we are. They would probably want to wait for their units. So the upgraded Flock of Doom, really strong spell. it has 300 range, so we can really start getting in here. And then we'll just make our way back a little bit. Alright. Now they're going to start fanning out. And we're going to modify our position just slightly. I expect them to come up there, little by little. Alright, we'll go on the hero. Okay, I think that this is fine. We're going to be devastating them here. We can definitely take out their skinks. Now, let's focus on their Saurus warriors, and then on their spears here. Well, group 6 can do whatever they want. I think we can route those guys. Oh my gosh, look at that. There we go. Route those guys, route these guys. Alright, do another big one of these. Alright. Teclis does not have much in the way of spells right now. So we're gonna go melee mode here to have them try to take out this beast. Alright. Beast is starting to be taken out. Okay. Alright. Swordmasters, good. And we're going to attack these guys from behind with our melee mode guys. Group 7. Alright, and we just got to make sure that these guys push their way through as best they can. Meanwhile, group 7. Kill that thing. Come on. Just kill it. Oh my gosh. These guys are just so strong. Alright, these guys are going to go into melee mode. We've got a little bit more mana. Not a lot, but a little. Alright, these guys are going to have got to start folding in the left side here. And we can reduce the melee attack of all of these guys just by flying over. Maybe come down here to add a bit of help. Go into melee mode and push forward. Spearmen might get taken out there, but we're going to try to help them out. And we're going to go here, except for these two are going to go here. There we go, I like that best. Okay, that skink cohort is shattered. It says shattered. It said shattered. Get the hell out of here. Stupid blessed stars, whatevers. Oh, tech. No. You can't go in. You're not a fighter today, buddy. Alright. Here we go. And so these guys, they are going to be able to heal. And so we want to chew them up. Sorry, they're not going to be able to heal. They're under siege. But they are going to be able to survive, and I do have to attack them again. So for that reason, I want to make sure that I do as much damage as possible. Look at those bodies. That's what I'm talking about. So we're gonna speed it up a little bit again and just let the Phoenix do its work. Ooh, one died there. A couple more. Cool. Yeah, those guys had guard mode on anyway. It's all fine. We'll just follow Mr. Phoenix as he does his thing, leaving a few bodies in his wake. Look at these guys. They're fast. They can make some progress. Go archers. Boom. Get those lizards. Get them. They got two. That's so funny. They're just like slowly trudging to the end of the map. Oh, they got a couple more. Caught up with some of them. You go, guys. Alright. I declare that when this guy falls down. I'm gonna get him. Okay, that's the end. So yeah, this was the archer show. Right, we tried to keep our melee guys back as much as possible since they were already pretty beaten up. Alright, and we can recharge by 11%. You saw we took out almost all of their units. This is an interesting one. So they want just 100 gold to join war against the purples. So really I don't care, but I have a fair amount of gold, so this isn't much. And then they'll have like a huge benefit in happiness to me, and I actually really would like to be these guys' friend, because if they're my enemy, it's a huge pain in the ass. So yeah, let's do it. So, Techie, what's he gonna get this time? Next one's gonna be the Net of Amentok, which can freeze guys in their place. Let's talk briefly, as long as we're doing an expert guide, about my favorite spells for Teclis. So upgrading Flock of Doom first is fantastic. The double cast Flock of Doom, the biggest part about that is it's a huge range, Um, 300 meters, which is as big as his fireball, which is just fantastic. And it does a really nice amount of damage. Yeah, and with a cost of 10, it's not so bad. Chain Lightning, I think, is just an all-around fantastic spell. Yeah, it sucks that it's a little bit randomly moving, but it does great damage. And then Net of Ammontok, I think, is the best utility spell, especially with its upgraded form. It traps guys for a huge amount of time, but it costs a ton of mana. But it's 30 seconds of trapping a whole area. So combined with good archers, it can be insanely strong. Okay, so there's nothing that can be done over here to those guys, which means that the only piece on our turn 7 is this. Dare I? See? Auto-resolving, I figured I would lose one, and I did indeed lose one spearman. But I think that's okay. I think it's okay. Alright, and for this one, we shall occupy. And we needed to lose a spearman anyway. Alright. And now, our next spell here is actually going to be the upgraded Ammontok, just because I'm not having any problems with the amount of mana or things to do with it. These other spells, all quite good, but the upgraded net is just really fantastic, especially this combo of netting them all and then flocking them, or netting them into a chain lightning. So good. Okay, so then let my boys recover there. Oh, I have a follower there. Was it the spotting guy? Okay, and then the question here is usually, do we go down to Golden Colossus, which we can't colonize, but they will be weak presently, or do we declare war and come up on Chamber of Visions? The first thing we're going to do is ask for a non-aggression pact from these guys. No? Okay. Okay. Yeah, as you can see, we got a nice boost with them because of that war declaration, but not enough yet. Just give it a little bit of time. Alright, and then in Sentinels of Xeti, we have this elven craftsman. Is that what we want? I don't think it is. We're going to demolish it and build a growth building instead, so that we can upgrade that place faster. We'll have a hero next turn, and my gut feeling is actually that we just go and march for the Chamber of Visions. I think that's how I want to do this. Yeah, let's give it a shot. And then probably after taking Chamber of Visions and dealing with Golden Colossus, we'll call it a wrap. This has probably gone on for a long time already, but it is a nice that should be a nice way of saying, like, hey, here's in the first 10 turns or so how we get a foothold. So here's another little reward for heroes. My income went down because I destroyed that building that was giving me gold. Then now, okay, so now I have the Crown of Sapphire quest. So Teclis, like all of the named hero lords, has two really special items that have quest lines. This is his first one, where you have to do the invocation of Isha to get it back, but it's got like 3 things in the quest line. And yeah, then the Ritual of Prophecy is our ultimate goal here. We're a long way from that. And we researched archery prowess. So now we'll do Spear Wall, better weapon strength for the Spearmen and Lotharns. And we're going to have a rebellion in the Turtle Isles, naturally. So, we're going to run up here. We can let this this rebellion fester for a little bit. Should be fine. We're going to recruit our hero. So this building here, the Elven Gardens, that we just got the quest completed for, it allows us to recruit a noble. Oh, we have like no influence. Luckily we have 10. We might actually get a little bit more. So before we recruit our hero, our quest was to do the Invocation of Isha, which increases casualty replenishment rate, which I like. And we get almost all the money back for it, but most importantly, we get 30 influence. With 30 influence, we go over here, recruit our hero. Oh wow. So this guy, when he's with an army, gives a ton of melee attack and defense for spearmen, archers, and sea guards. That sounds really good. Causes fear. Yeah, I think that this guy sounds like a fantastic fit. He'll give huge bonuses. That's like a really nice bonus for a hero to give. So we'll use all of our influence up and grab him. Cool beans. So we hired our hero. And then we're going to put him in camp mode, but we don't need to recruit any guys this turn. And then we're going to do the growth, the homestead. The rebellion we know about, and that will be fine. We have 11 guys here, so Great Turtle Isle is pretty well protected. The rebellions always happen next to the capital city, if you own the capital city. Which has walls, so they can't just like run up and attack it. They're going to have to siege it and so on, which can be disruptive, but is not the end of the world. Oh hey, Melvin. What do you want? Defensive Alliance. Who are you at war with now? Oh, you have Fortress of Dawn. Yeah, let's do it. This game ends up breaking down often on racial lines towards the mid-game anyway. Ooh, destroy the Xeti. Rebellion in the Turtle Isles. Shield has done her 4 turns and is ready for duty. But most importantly, okay. So, Corian buddy. Yeah, so she's got 6 units right now. The question is, do I just run over here to link up with my boy, or do I try to assault some units? I guess I'll assault. Oh, no, it was a failure. I should have looked at the statistics first. Oh well. However, meanwhile, I think we have a slam dunk here to declare war on these guys, the Bloodhall Coven. They have almost definitely a big old army near their capital. But over here, nothing that can stand up to us. What? Oh my goodness, I have to play out all of these. I'm lucky I didn't lose my guys, but I lost 2 more spearmen there. Embarrassing. My powers are needed here. well, for this turn, I can at least replace those spearmen. I'm going to replace all of them. I'm only going into the negatives because I have all of this extra cash. So then, next one, what we're trying to do is we're going to try to get to Flames of the Phoenix as quickly as possible. So we want five spells available. And so my plan here is, I think that there's a couple good ones. So the Flaming Sword gives big bonus to missile damage, which is really strong. It's kind of another one that I think that with the net of Amentok can be super, super, super good. But I actually have been warming up to Enfeebling Foe. Like, if you look at Teclis himself, so he has 36 and 28 melee attack and defense. That's like almost this entire debuff. And so like for a full minute, you make someone almost useless in melee. So as I'm fighting these Saurus heroes, I am pretty excited about that, especially bringing down the cost of it. So I think that I'm going to actually do these 5, double enfeebling, net, chain, and then get the Phoenix. And I may even do an extra Flock of Doom along the way after getting the Phoenix, and then go into the rest of this. Okay. So we've got the Chamber of Visions. We're not gonna... So yeah, it wants us to build the Ancient Waystone, which is the +10 thing. We're not going to do it on the first turn, because... So, we can demolish buildings, right, and get a little bit of money back, get 600 gold back, and it takes a turn to do that. But if we do it this turn, we actually don't get the spearmen that we're recruiting using that building. Right, so we're using that militia camp to get these 3 spearmen, and if we destroy it this turn, those guys just don't appear, and we get the money back. So, yeah, so that's not what we want to do. Okay, these guys will move towards each other next turn, and we are going to be promoting growth. Situation looks pretty good. Province secured. Yep, and so just letting these guys uprise is just fine. These guys will come either by boat or by land, but it might take them a little while to get their act together. So now we have our first event. So, interesting. Yeah. So I can denounce the messenger to get 10 influence, or get 18 influence by further accelerating my next rebellions. This is versus -5 income from buildings. Given that I'm already in the red, and I'm going to be fighting rebellions so much anyway, I'm actually going to be taking the unhappy populace here for the larger amount of influence. So like, this will go down pretty fast, but it actually doesn't really matter. Okay, and so here, now we have an important decision to make. And that important decision is, do we go for destroying the Golden Colossus and let ourselves get sieged over here? Or do we deal with the uprising first? I think we deal with the uprising first. Go pick up our hero. And we will even upgrade or build a building over in the Mud Isles. So we can build a clay pit there, but I think that what we really need is a plaza, because we need to do everything we can to get public order. One more thing worth mentioning about this is that when you're in a rebellion, it forces you to gain 20 public order per turn from these malcontents leaving for the rebellion. And so, yeah, for another couple turns, as long as the rebellion is there, my choice doesn't even affect this. Of course, here it does. Yeah, I can give myself a little bit of breathing room by not collecting the 50 taxes. Yeah, that'll save me a little bit of time. Alright, so let's quell these two things. Turn myself around. But now we've got, yeah, 2 provinces. A really nice army at full health. We did some tough battles. But I think that this equips us to get going. We're going to now demolish this so we can build the waystone. I'm going to go fight this doofus. And, ooh, this is an interesting one. So she's got these white lions of Thrace, which are pretty strong, actually. Yeah, very strong indeed. Okay, we're gonna fight it out. It's probably the last fight of this video, and it'll be the only one we're doing against non-lizard folk, so maybe we'll see something slightly different. We've got flying guys, we've got cavalry, and we've got a siege engine. So there are some different and interesting aspects here. Oh. Huh, so they're up on a hill, and I'm the attacker. Ooh, this is a tough one, actually, isn't it? Alright, so 1, now we have Mr. number 2, Mr. Worldwide. 5, 6, and 7. 5, lock, 6, lock. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is that this is a really complex battlefield, actually. So it's like this road up, but you don't want to just walk up the road because these are elves. They have like archers and bolt throwers, and so that's just not where we want to be at all. So we're going to take cover in the jungle and walk. Sorry for moving the camera around so crazy there. We're going to come up the jungle here and then expose their flank. They'll see enough of us, of course, but get them on their flank a little bit so that we're not fighting uphill, and we've got an open situation for our archer advantage to rule the day. And as you saw, we are heavily advantaged in the power dynamic, but that doesn't always mean it's going to be easy. Alright, let's start this. We're going to be moving group 6 first. Alright, it's going to be moving them right up here. 6, 7, 4, 5, 3, 2, 1. And everybody can walk, and you guys can all go guard mode. And let's move this a little bit faster. Because it's going to take a little while to walk up this giant hill. But this is going to be an interesting battle, actually. These white lions, I was actually really excited about them when I was reading their statistics. But yeah, but now that I actually see them, or that I've actually used them, very unimpressed. with the White Lions of Thrace. Trace. Okay. Oh. Things are going on. Oh, they're ungoing on now. Yep. All of my guys except him are camouflaged. And of course, Goldilocks over here. Okay. So now I'm here. Okay. So having the spear guys there is nice in some ways because it's always good to have some shield dudes. Okay. Yeah, okay, Goldilocks. Alright, we'll let these guys walk a little bit faster. Walk, walk, walk. Oh, okay. Hold on. I'm about to get my bird pelted. There we go. So we're just gonna maneuver this at accelerated speed. And now we can actually start getting into position for realsies. Okay, so for group 6, we do want them to come forward. Real Slim Shady can go ahead and step up. Okay. So now we're going to take group 6 and hit him. Group 7 is going to hit the White Lions. Now we're going to take this huge area here. So yeah, I'm just using my massive ranged advantage here. We haven't done too much damage here yet, actually, which is kind of interesting. Okay, everybody's firing. And we'll weaken these guys. This is why we put you guys in the front. Okay. 4, so we're going to do a little charge up. Uh-oh. There you go. Now, this is interesting. I'm losing way more guys than I thought I would here. Oh, you got a little carried away there, didn't you, pal? Thought you were gonna go in there. Okay. So. My archers maybe not behaving in the most optimal way. Alright, so this is a perfect opportunity to enfeeble you. This is good because I'm able to actually wreck most of these guys. So lost more than I expected, but didn't lose any units. So hoorah, I guess. My hero was basically useless, except for the fact that he probably gave a whole bunch of stats to the rest of my army, so that's always good. Okay. We'll fast forward. All should be good there, though. We really devastated their armies here. Yeah, we'll just not waste our time. But we took a lot of losses. I mean, these guys are solid. But it was actually the the silver helms, the good ones. Yeah, so one of the interesting things about rebellions in this game is that they can actually be beneficial for you, because they
Restrain the
provide
captives.
quite a bit of gold and reset public order. Oh, well, that's an obnoxious place to go. Alright, and so I said enfeebling foe was going to be the other one that we do. And then we'll have our 5. We're very regenerative. And I think we're going to boost that up even more. So the replenishment rate bonuses for the hero are where I start, usually, and take those whenever I can. And then just kind of go in here. Valor of Ages usually, then Blade Master, Foe Seeker, and Steeds whenever I can. So the other thing we should do with him is say, hey, we have some abilities for you. Oh, that's pretty good. He hexes everyone around him. I like that a lot. Okay. We don't have another weapon for him, though. Okay, so that's all he gets. But cool. And now we actually have our elven colony prepared. Got a couple more turns until this guy comes up. So we keep operating in the negatives for now. There you go. Let it grow. Invocation of Vol. Spear Wall, so we do a new technology. My next one that I usually go for is Naval Discipline. Give additional stats to the Sea Guards. And here, this one we can just auto-resolve. We'll take the bonus experience. Starwood Staff. How much you got? Forbidden Rod? Oh, that's the damage to self one. I like the Starwood Staff better. Alright. Yeah, unfortunately there's not really a landing point around Golden Colossus. Otherwise I might take off that way. But I think we'll just take it slow. Deal with the rebellion there. We're going to build the Ancient Waystone, and we're going to upgrade to Haven. Actually, interestingly, we probably want to upgrade the Chamber of Visions first, because there's so many buildings that we want to build here. Yeah. So I think that I'm going to stop here. This is kind of like a solid show you how it's done. We're not stabilized, but to stabilize we're going to have to do a little bit more. We're going to have to push north here. So this is going to be Skaven and Dark Elves. These guys are almost certainly building up an army. We can't see it. So what I'm going to be doing actually, now that I've taken out this place and secured here, is that I'm going to come back this way, raise Golden Colossus after fighting the army, maybe the Slan Mage Priest, Bunquequi, who's going to be coming back, and then turn around and push north here. So like, this is actually a great series of 3 places, but especially Hualatal. Yeah, it's just like a strong defensible castle that I like to have. And then if these guys ever lose Caverns of the Bat, which they often do because it's kind of isolated from the rest of their position, then we can run up and take these two as well. These ruins, of course, are not actually unoccupied. They're Skaven. So, anyway, I'm going to end the turn to save, and yeah, hopefully this has been fun. This is the first expert guide that we've done for Warhammer 2, so please let us know what you think of it. It's pretty long, so too long, too short, you want me to go further, less far, less explanations, more explanations. There are specific things like battle tutorials or economic tutorials, or deeper dives. Let me know, because yeah, I'm going to probably be streaming this game a little bit more and going into some of the issues there, but I want to try to make these guides to help you all out as much as possible as you get started moving up the difficulty curve of the game, because it's a really rewarding one. Alright, have a good one, everybody.